Eagles Nation, hold on tight. July is flying by faster than a Jalen Hurts third down bullet pass. And you know what that means. August is right around the corner, and so is preseason football. Circle the date, August 7th, we're taking on the Bengals, and I have no doubt we're coming out strong and going for that win. If you're just as hyped to see the Birds back in action, smash that like button and show your support. The NFL let them fall right into our laps. Giad, Campbell, and Jix Hunt, two names that are becoming increasingly familiar around Philadelphia, and for good reason. As training camp heats up, these two players are not just making noise, they're making statements. Statements that scream, "We belong." And honestly, this might be one of the best examples yet of Howie Roseman outsmarting the league. Let's start with the rookie who's turning heads, Giad Campbell. Coming off labrum surgery, expectations were that he might ease his way into camp, maybe even start on the PUP list. Instead, he's out there running with the first team, moving like a player with something to prove, and he is proving it. Campbell's length, speed, and quick reaction time are jumping off the screen and onto the field. The recovery timeline? Blown out of the water. Vic Fangio even admitted he didn't expect to have him this early. This is a guy who was a top 10 player on the Eagles draft board, and Philly was able to snag him at 31. Think about that. That's Jalen Carter all over again. Another first-round talent who somehow slipped and ended up in green. You're talking about a player with a pass rush background from IMG Academy, who then made the switch to off-ball linebacker at Alabama and didn't just survive, he thrived. Now he's learning from none other than Zach Bond, last year's first-team All-Pro and a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. And Bond's not holding anything back. He's mentoring Campbell without fear, embracing the competition and strengthening the linebacker room in the process. That leadership is key. Bond said it himself. He's not going to be the vet who hoards knowledge because of job security. He wants the linebacker core to be elite, and even though it's clear Campbell won't take Bond's spot just yet, the potential is there. Remember, Bond came into his own last year after fully transitioning to an off-ball linebacker. That's the same path Campbell is walking now. The similarities are striking. Their instincts, athleticism, and versatility give Fangio options, and you better believe he'll use every bit of it. Now, Fangio isn't the type to heap praise on rookies lightly. His comments were simple. He did fine. That's about as complimentary as it gets from a guy like him. But actions speak louder than words, and the fact that Campbell is already getting reps with the ones says plenty. His quick feet, violent hands, long arms, those aren't just physical attributes. Those are tools. Tools that can help in pass rush, zone drops, baton.
G passes at the line, you name it, and it's not just the coaches noticing. Elliott Shore-Parks was at camp and said plainly, "We need to rethink our expectations for Campbell this year. He looks like a guy who could contribute in week one. He's not just a future starter. He might be an impact player right now. From luxury pick to potential week one disruptor in the blink of an eye." That's the kind of progression you want to see. Of course, this kind of rise doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's a product of smart drafting, forward-thinking coaching, and a player who's hungry. Campbell is healthy, he's fast, he's learning, and he's already flashing. With Nakobe Dean out, that spot is up for grabs. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is another name to watch, and Fangio reportedly loves him too. But Campbell is the one making the early splash. Now flip the script. Jix Hunt, another player who slid in the draft and is starting to look like a steal. Selected 94th overall in the third round, Hunt was a bit of a mystery. Ivy League background at Cornell, moved to Houston Baptist, changed positions from safety to edge rusher. This is not your typical path to the NFL. He's raw, but he's dangerous, and the buzz around him is growing fast. Jordan Mailata, a second-team All-Pro tackle who sees Hunt every day in practice, dropped the biggest compliment you could ask for. He compared Hunt to Micah Parsons. That's not hyperbole. That's a Pro Bowl lineman saying he sees Parsons-like traits in a guy who's just learning the position. The quickness, the bend, the explosiveness off the edge. Hunt has it, and he's showing it. Last season, Hunt really came alive in the playoffs. He had a half sack in the Super Bowl. He pressured Mahomes. He got into the backfield consistently. Bryce Huff was a non-factor. Brandon Graham wasn't active until the Super Bowl. But Hunt, he was making plays. His Pro Football Focus grade in the postseason was 74 overall, 12th among edge rushers. His pass rush grade, 76.5, 2 sacks, 7 hurries, 9 total pressures. That's production in meaningful snaps. And all this from a guy nobody expected to be on the radar. But Daniel Jeremiah had him 64th on his board. That's second-round value. Roseman saw it. He moved quick, and he even joked about asking Jeremiah to take Hunt's name off the screen during the draft broadcast so other teams wouldn't notice him. Smart, calculated, aggressive. This is the model the Eagles are using. Young, cheap, talented. Build around that core. Pay the veterans when it makes sense, but fill out the roster with guys who can outperform their contracts. That's how you build a dynasty. The Eagles enter the 2025 season with the third cheapest defense in the NFL in terms of spending. Think about that. Third cheapest. Yet it's loaded with names like Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, Zach Bond, Reed Blankenship, and now Giad Campbell and Jix Hunt. All young, all high impact, and all under budget. That's Howie Roseman's genius. Spend where it matters. Offensive line, wide receiver, quarterback. Keep the defense young, fast, and hungry. Let Vic Fangio mold them into something special. And so far, it's working. Jix Hunt didn't need to be handed the reins. He took them. He earned a spot in the rotation. He flashed in the regular season and exploded in the playoffs. Now, with a full offseason under his belt, what's next? And that's the real question I want to leave you with. What do you make of Giad Campbell's and Jix Hunt's impact so far? Are we watching the next great Eagles defenders take flight? Let me know your thoughts. We're talking about two players, Giad Campbell and Jix Hunt, who could redefine what the Eagles defense looks like over the next few seasons. But let's stay focused on Hunt for a bit longer, because what he's doing as such a raw prospect is honestly remarkable. A former safety turned edge rusher, he's still mastering the position. Yet when you watch the tape, he's got traits you can't coach. Elite burst off the line, the ability to dip and bend around tackles, and a relentless motor that pushes him through plays until the whistle. And the mental side? That's catching up quickly. You don't make the leap from Houston Baptist to meaningful playoff snaps for a Super Bowl winning team unless you're picking things up at a high level. His ability to read tackles, time his jump, and counter with inside moves has developed fast. There's polish still to come, no doubt, but the tools are there, and now the results are starting to follow. That's why the Eagles passed on making a splashy trade for a big-name edge rusher. No TJ Watt, no Trey Hendrickson, no Myles Garrett. And why? Because Howie believes in Nolan Smith and Jix Hunt. He believes they can be stars, and he's betting on that internal growth rather than chasing expensive contracts. That's not just savvy cap management. That's trusting your scouting department, your development pipeline, and your coaching staff to bring these guys along. And here's what's wild. This entire defense, stacked as it is one of the cheapest in football. In 2025, the Eagles rank 30th in defensive spending. They're 31st in safety spending, 31st on the defensive line, 4th at corner. That's where Howie is willing to invest. And it shows. Guys like Quenya Mitchell and Coupling are elite young players who can lock down the outside and the slot. Coupling especially, arguably the best slot corner in the league, is only 22 years old. And on the back end, you've got Reed Blankenship, the UDFA who's turned into a legitimate top safety in the NFL. He's only 26 and it's time for the team to extend him. He's earned it. He's one of those players who plays with an edge, plays smart, and always seems to be around the ball. Add in Keely Ringo, Andrew Makuba, and you've got a safety room with speed,